I'm joined by Mike Evans and Mike Jones from Marvel and Capcom to talk about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which just got announced during our giant showcase. Man, this game looks killer. We've only seen a brief glimpse of it so far. We've seen the cinematic trailer. We've seen a short gameplay clip last night after the Capcom Cup. Oh, man, people are excited.
I mean, let's start there. We're so happy to finally be able to talk about this collaboration. It's been a long time coming. You know?
The hype is real.
It is indeed.
There's been, and we try to keep it quiet for so long. Right, and we're always very, very sensitive about leaks at Capcom and Marvel. And we saw the rumors start circulating just before PSX, and we're like, oh my gosh, and then it hit Saturday morning, and everybody lost their mind.
I mean,
it's true. It's here. We're back.
We're back. It's crazy because we're both big fanboys, of each IP. Mike used to work at Capcom, ex-Capcom.
Awesome.
So we go way we go way back. You know.
So we grew up on some of these games and some of the franchise. Working at Capcom myself, being a big fighting game fan myself, now being on the Marvel side, being able to collaborate with Mike and the team back in Japan is really just the 10-year-old version of myself, dream come true. So,
but it's fantastic. I mean, you mentioned Capcom Cup last night was absolutely amazing. I mean, it's going to go down as one of the best. I mean, 2 finalists from the U.S. Ricky Ortiz and Knuckle Dew is absolutely fantastic. And then we showcased the first ever gameplay of Marvel's Capcom Infinite, super hype.
It looks so good, too. So fast-paced, as always. It looks really good. We've got 4 characters announced so far. We've got Ryu, Mega Man X.
Mega Man X.
Thank you. I've been waiting for X.
Yeah.
Awesome. So X is in the game. We've got Iron Man. We've got Captain Marvel, a new addition.
Marvel,
New to the franchise, extremely important character for us at Marvel and the history of Marvel, and obviously started out as Miss Marvel, and then rose to the ranks to the Marvel characters and was ultimately dubbed Captain Marvel, the name of the company. And now, looking forward, of course, there's going to be a movie with Captain Marvel. So we wanted to put some new flair into the series as well with some new characters that are important to Marvel.
That's awesome. From a character,
we're being very thoughtful too about how we pick and promote these characters. I mean, this time also another huge pillar of the game is going to be the story.
Oh yeah.
We're for the first time we're getting to tell the story of how the worlds come together. And for us, Mega Man X was an easy pick. He's a fan favorite. He also is going to fit very deeply into the story, along with Captain Marvel. So,
cool.
And I would like to mention that we have more announcements coming.
Ooh.
There's going to be 2 unannounced characters shown tonight.
Tonight?
An extended
Already?
gameplay, 5:30 p.m. Tune into ESPN2 for the exclusive.
Yeah, they're going to do a rebroadcast of the Street Fighter V Finals at Capcom Cup on ESPN2.
Okay, cool.
5:30 Pacific time, and somewhere in there, we're going to show an extended version of the gameplay trailer and 2 more characters.
All right, cool. I'll be looking forward to that. So when you guys are choosing these characters, how do you choose which characters make it into Marvel versus Capcom, and how do you choose which versions of those characters to use?
There's a lot of considerations, but speaking, for the Marvel side, the core of everything that Marvel does, from filmmaking to TV to publishing and games, is storytelling. And so with the new emphasis on the cinematic story mode and the story of how these 2 universes collide and how our characters meet and what that means, drove a lot of the creative decisions for what characters are going to be used. There's also a lot of gameplay considerations.
Exactly. And we work very closely. We have a lot of creative freedom. It's really nice working with Mike Jones, Bill Roseman from the Marvel team.
Our creative director.
Those guys, they're super awesome. So we have freedom to do a lot. That said, on the Capcom side, especially with the Japan studio, we're always looking at gameplay first, and we want to make sure that each character type is represented. You got your brawlers, you got your glass cannons, you want something for everyone. And this time, the battle system, the partner system plus the Infinity Stones coming in for the first time.
Well, and here's the gameplay trailer.
Yeah, we've got the gameplay now.
That we showed last night at Capcom Cup.
So let's take a look at this gameplay, and can you just kind of explain some of the things we're seeing here?
What you're seeing right now is the new tag system. It's completely free-form this time. In the past, in the series, you would pick 3 characters, choose alpha, beta, gamma, assist. It was all a little bit complicated. This time, you just pick your character, you pick your partner, and you pick your Infinity Stone, and you jump right in. That said, the complexity and the strategy that our fans are looking for is there with the new Infinity Stone system, as you're seeing here.
And the new partner system really, I mean, in previous iterations, there are all these individual features. There's assists and delayed hyper combos and team hyper combos and all these different types of scenarios that you can create. And what we've tried to do is actually, in a very elegant way, put that into a singular partner sort of mechanic that you can use freeform that allows you to create those scenarios yourself, however you want to play. So to develop your own sort of team synergy play style, and then add on top of that an Infinity Stone that gives you extra tools that you may not otherwise have. So slow characters might become fast with the Time Stone. Powerful characters might become more powerful with the Power Stone.
So is it so the Infinity Stones, do they work? It sounds like you're saying they work uniquely depending on which character uses them, or is that
each Infinity Stone has a unique power.
Gotcha. Okay.
That supplements your team. So for example, identity creation is a huge thing in Marvel games.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This is my team. I'm going to style on you. In my way. So
I'm gonna style on me.
No, I'm gonna style on you. No, but seriously, it's in this game. For example, we were both playing Ryu and Captain Marvel, right?
Yeah.
But he's playing Ryu and Captain Marvel with the Power Stone, and I'm playing Ryu and Captain Marvel with the Time Stone, and completely different. The strategy is just
and tool sets are very different. So if you think about it from the story perspective in Marvel, it's like the Infinity Stones, right? Kind of allow you to break the laws of nature and break a rule of the universe, right? Power Stone, Time Stone, Space Stone, and
Reality
so we kind of thought about that through the lens of a fighting game. Right. And so, hey, if you had one of these stones, what rules of a fighting game could you break? Right. Mobility, attack, vitality, space control, etc. Right. What does that mean in a fighting game? So that's kind of what we tried to lean into and say, hey, if these characters had an Infinity Stone, what would that mean in a fighting game?
Do you feel like you're maybe biting off more than you can chew in regards to balance in introducing?
We talk about that all the time.
We don't worry about that in this series.
Figure it out.
Well, what's awesome though is, and you could probably talk more about it, is we have some of the original developers that worked on the earliest Marvel fighting games at Capcom in Japan, now working on this newest iteration. So some of the original visionaries who kind of came up with the crazy, bombastic, dynamic, gameplay that was originally featured in X-Men: Children of the Atom and Marvel Superheroes and all the Versus series from there, are now sort of reimagining and re-envisioning what the future of the franchise is. And so they're definitely going to have a tuning and balancing and design sort of monolithic task in front of us, but they're definitely up to the challenge.
Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, now Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
You
never know what the final form of the game is going to take shape. Once it gets out there in the hands of our fans and in tournament play. So, that said, however, we have learned from the past, and this series has a long past. And we made some bold choices this time, but it's for good reason. We've seen in the past that it's such a character-driven game. People love these characters, but no matter what, depending on the tools that those characters have, whether it's mobility or whatnot, there tends to be 5 or 6 that rise to the top, and that's all you see. This time, the system is so freeform, but also the Infinity Stones are more strategic than a third character would be in previous iterations of the game, where they would just come out, like for example, if my team, I needed a OTG or I needed to pop up a character off the ground to continue a combo, I would pick one character to do that. And then
that's the only reason.
Yeah, and we're looking at that, we're like, is that really teamwork? So it's like we could have gone 4v4, 5v5 even, but we went 2v2 because we can play up teamwork, and strategy in a way that you get diminishing returns. So yeah, the stones are going to fill in your characters, your teams. You could have a big brawler with the Time Stone, as Mike was saying. All of a sudden, you have mobility that in previous iterations of the game would never be possible.
Okay, so, cool.
And there's an element of approachability to it too, right? Accessibility and that's part of why it's called Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, right? And not necessarily Marvel vs. Capcom 4. We want all that depth of these systems under the hood are going to be there for people to get in the lab and experiment. Like, what combination of characters and stones, and Ryu with the Power Stone is better than Captain Marvel with the Mind Stone, or these are the kind of conversations that we're hoping that the meta develops into. But simplifying it into pick your 2 favorite characters, pick an Infinity Stone, go at it, rock and roll. It makes it easier for people who are maybe just fans of the characters, fans of Marvel, fans of Capcom, and are not fighting game experts, right? You don't have to be an expert at MVC3 and MVC2 to really get into this and enjoy it. And that's also a big reason why we're putting so much emphasis on the cinematic story mode, right? If you want to enjoy a story that features all these characters that you wouldn't see in any other Marvel game or any other Capcom game, this is where you're going to see, Mega Man X meets Iron Man, and what does that look like, right? What happens? So a lot of thought's gone into, not only battle system, but the story, the visuals, and again, at Marvel sort of, is representative of how we recently just been trying to raise the bar and set a new standard for what Marvel games are, right? We had our Spider-Man announcement earlier this year at E3.
Thank you. Looks so
Guardians
good.
of the Galaxy
So hyped.
series coming with Telltale that we're really excited about.
Yep.
And now this,
Yes.
you know, we could not be more excited and more honored to be working with the Capcom crew.
A real focus on high-quality games from Marvel. This is kind of a new leaf, it seems like you guys are turning over here, and I'm so appreciative of it because these properties are so beloved, and they really deserve these amazing games that it looks like we're starting to get.
Well, as Mike said, you know, I joined from Capcom about 2 years ago. I started at Marvel. And we did start putting an emphasis on bringing in game professionals, bringing people to Marvel who understand how to build games and have worked in games and can work with our partners on amazing stuff like this that are authentic, that are sort of the new age and the new standard of what gaming means to Marvel. There's no reason our games shouldn't be just as good as our movies and TV shows and comics and everything else.
Sure.
And so that's our goal, is when you see, you know, Marvel. When you see that Marvel brick on a game, you're like, it's going to be awesome.
Nice. So in regards to like the development of the game, how far along are you guys? Do you have everything nailed down in terms of like the number of buttons and the types of attacks and all that stuff? Or
No, we're still, we like to work until the very end. No, we still, you know, we play the game every day, literally, you know, back in the office and Combo Fiend and, you know, so we're taking an approach, you know, the game on day one is going to be feature rich. You know, we're going to release it when it's ready. And it's going to have an amazing story about how these worlds came together for the first time. So we're taking our time.
But what I would say is that we are putting a big focus on making sure it's playable on gamepad as well as joystick. You don't have to have a pro player stick to like, and all the crazy dexterity to do crazy combos, right? We want people to just be able to pick up and play if you're not going to spend $200, $500 on a custom stick to go compete at Capcom Cup, right? Not everybody can do that. And so there has been sort of a very careful, thoughtful emphasis on, hey, how does the game play on pad? How does the game play on a stick? And making sure that everybody can enjoy these characters.
I really appreciate that. As somebody whose first exposure to fighting games was Street Fighter II Championship Edition on Super Nintendo. Like, I grew up playing on gamepad, so I'll buy a stick and I'll play on it, but I always feel a little more at home on the gamepad.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it's funny because hearing that, we're all fighting gamers, you know, we're all fans at heart. And for me, Mike touched on it a little bit, but the team this time, it's really magical. I mean, not just the collaboration and that we're all huge fans at heart, but the team back in Japan, in the Japan studios, like, these guys are, it's the hit list of all the original creators. They're just so talented, you know. I go over there, we talk about UI or design or gameplay or whatnot, and, you know, I'm talking with guys that worked on the original games, you know, X-Men Children of the Atom, you know, Marvel Superheroes. You know, and it's been great, you know. So that mixed with pushing the storytelling, let's tell for the first time how these worlds came together, you know. And as you can see, it's taken a little bit more of a cinematic approach, a more modern feel to the game. So we're very excited about it.
Cool.
Yeah. It hasn't lost any of that bombastic, seizure-inducing style that everybody loves the series for. So.
Exactly.
You guys mentioned accessibility and making the game a little easier to pick up for people who might not be familiar with the series, and I really appreciate that. That said, accessibility can sometimes be a scary word for the really hardcore players out there. What are you guys doing to ensure that the game remain, like, keep that skill ceiling really high?
Combo Fiend.
Hired Combo Fiend.
Combo Fiend. Yeah. No, but I think but again,
out.
I mean, I think on the surface, and we've been spending a lot of time, I think, with you know, folks yesterday talking to fans, talking to press about what the new battle design means in 2v2 and the Infinity Stones. And you know, early on we had a lot of conversations, and we knew this would be, you know, a big discussion point when we announced the game. But once people, I think, get their hands on it, they'll understand it. But as we talk more and more with people about, hey, all the stuff that you are used to doing that are individual features in previous iterations are now sort of at your disposal, free form, as part of this partner system, and it's simplified, it's more elegant, but you can actually do more now with your characters than you've been able to do in previous games. And then add on to that the Infinity Stones that totally augment your tool set. Now we think that there are really infinite gameplay possibilities, and that's where the hardcore users shine, right? Get in a training mode, get in the laboratory, and start experimenting with, like, oh, these two characters, they can do this setup, but if I add the Mind Stone on top of it, or the Soul Stone, or the you know, what, and then wait, but this strategy beats that, so I need a way to counter the Reality Stone with this character, you know, and hopefully that's how the meta will develop.
Sounds like we're going to see some really interesting matchups.
That's what we hope
here.
so. That's what we're hoping, yeah.
I mean, for the last 15 years in the Versus series, it's been 3-on-3, right?
Yeah.
And then there's been this kind of like adding on complexity, you know, different ways you can use your partners, and it has become very complex. with the goal of playing up that partnership and teamship and teamwork with your characters. However, as Mike pointed out, we're looking at it this time and saying, you know, instead of a character just coming out, doing a move and leaving,
a predetermined move.
A predetermined move.
Yeah.
I want to be able to use my character at any time, in any situation, any way I want. You know, so it's like whether I'm in the air, or whether I'm doing a combo on the ground or whatever. I call my character, he comes out, helps me, and then that's where we really see the partnership. And I think people in the first gameplay trailer realized that, wow, like the back and forth is just on another level.
You can almost think of your two characters operating as one character.
One character.
Yeah.
Like, and you're making combos that you're not just using one character's tool set, you're using both of their tool sets, and you can freestyle, right?
Cool.
And so we think that's going to be fun. And then again, Infinity Stone, and then the balance, and then so it's going to be crazy.
We're taking it in a very exciting direction. However, I'm a big fan of MVC3. I know Mike is too.
Yep. It's out yesterday.
We just announced
right
it.
now on PlayStation 4. You can go download Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Go out,
looks
get it
great.
now. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
1080p, 60 frames a second. Includes all the DLC costumes, all the characters, and also a fantastic digital art book, Marvel vs. Capcom Official Works by Udon.
So get hyped for MVC Infinite by playing Ultimate MVC3 right now on your PS4. That is all the time that we have for MVC Infinite today. Thank you guys so much. This was a really interesting conversation. This has been incredible. I'm so hyped for MVC Infinite. I can't wait to play it. Tune in to ESPN2's rebroadcast of the gameplay trailer tonight
5:30
to see 5:30 Pacific to see 2 new characters revealed for the game.
Exactly.
Super exciting. Thank you guys so much for joining
Thanks
us.
for having us.
PlayStation